It's 10:36 in the morning. I just picked up my AirTag at the Apple store. How the hell are there like over 50 people lining up at the Apple store on a weekday? So this is what I'm gonna do to bypass the anti-track alert. I'm gonna use a microcontroller to turn the battery on and off at an interval so the iPhone will not think the AirTag is following all the time. Here's a bunch of stuff you need. I'm about to do some clip popping ASMR. This is the speaker. I'm gonna disconnect it so I can save on battery. Check out this sick Milwaukee soldering iron I made. It goes from 0 to 400 degrees Celsius in 15 seconds. As you can see, I don't have any flux. That's why I'm extracting it from this rosin core solder. Look at this. I think I fucked up when I was opening up the back case and I end up prying out one of the capacitors. But you honestly don't need all the capacitors for it to work. Like my dad once said when I almost lost a finger, God gave you 5 and now you have 4. I don't have a screwdriver, so I'm gonna need my wire cutter to identify itself as a screwdriver. This is a buck converter. It takes the 5 volt from the external battery and turn it into a 3 volt for the AirTag. The AirTags has 2 different terminals for power for some reason. That's why I'm using this yellow wire to connect the 2 terminals together. You hear that? Here's the finished unit. Look at this beauty. If you want to know what the code I used looks like, bam, here's a simplified version of the code I used. I'm not going to show you the exact one I used because I don't want to encourage anyone who doesn't know this to do this. But it's only about 6 lines of code. So if you know, you know. Stay in school, kids. I saw 9to5Mac bitching about how the AirTag is only designed to send out audio alerts after 3 days when it doesn't come in range with the owner's iPhone. Here's the thing I don't get. When Samsung released a device that has built-in SIM card with no stalking notifications, gave people real-time cellular GPS location updates, and no one was concerned about how people can abuse it. The worst headline it got was how expensive it was. Here's the thing, in life we have something called choices. You either choose to get an Android and get raped, or you choose to get an iPhone. And if you listen to some of the people in my comments, the solution seems to be identifying yourself as a Republican. It seems like as soon as you identify yourself as a Republican, the AirTag will stop tracking you and all your problems will go away. But whenever I need to find my keys, I need to identify myself as a Democrat again. It's also funny that Tile is trying to sue Apple. I have personally lost a handful of tiles and have never been able to get a single update from a lost tile. Here's the honest truth. You can use Tile to find stuff around the house, but for lost items, it simply doesn't work. That's why no one is worried about being tracked by tiles. All jokes aside, AirTag is literally the safest tracker you could get. Apple has the serial number printed in the back so you can't remove it. But even if you manage to scratch it off, you can still get the serial number by scanning it with any iPhone or Android with NFC, which means the authority can easily get the AirTag's owner info from Apple. So you could track me with an AirTag and know where I am, but I will know where you're gonna be, in prison. Here's the problem living in a free country. People could do anything they want. The only consequences is getting arrested and locked up. At least Apple is making knowing who did it and locking up the right person faster and easier. Anyways, I gave this to my friend Daniel to make sure it works. So for the past 2 days, he took this home, then to work, then he drove from New York to Boston, then back to New York, and then back to work, and then finally back home, and he didn't get a single alert telling him that I'm stalking him. So I would say this is a success. You might be thinking that no one is gonna carry this big ass thing around for me to track them. You're right, so let's make it smaller. Here's where the real fun begins. You know what? I'm gonna clean off the stain on the table for you guys first. It has been a very lonely few months. I'll explain how this works. It's simple. This is a 555 timer IC. With the right wiring and resistors, you could tell it when to turn on and when to turn off. So when you change the resistance, it changes the time it takes to turn on and off. You could also differentiate the on and off time with different resistors. This is not a how-to tutorial. If you want to do this, this is not exactly how to do it. This is me just using enough part to prove this concept is easily doable. As you can see here, when I turn the blue preset, it changed the resistance, which changes the blinking time. You know the best part about this? I could power this with an iPhone 5 battery. So I named this Apple iPhone Air Force 1. Apple because all parts are made in China, but designed in the USA. iPhone because it's powered by iPhone battery technology. Air stands for AirTags, of course. And force means I'm gonna force my dick in your... So I asked my community to give me some idea on what to call this device. And you guys really disappointed me. I was really strong on calling this the Apple iRape, but you guys didn't seem to like this idea. I could have made you guys the Apple iRape and the Apple iRape Pro Max. Anyways, here are all the dumb names that you guys came up with. AirTag along, iTag along, I got you bitch, I care about my ex a lot with 4 thumbs up, and the winner is ICU with 6 thumbs up. I made a special video, I'd like to show it to you guys now. This is ICU. ICU runs on our proprietary Where Is network with almost 1 billion unwilling participants. The next time you see a cute girl on the subway and wants to know if she got home okay, just use ICU and you can see for yourself on our Where Is app. Have you ever wondered which of the cute guy at the gym doesn't live with his mom? Find out for sure with ICU 30 pack. You can also use ICU to help your friends. Make sure your friend Daniel doesn't bump into his side chick when he's out shopping with his main chick. Apple. Before I get into how Apple could easily fix this issue with a software update, I want to take a second and talk about this guy on the internet named Louis Rossmann. He's fighting for something called the right to repair. At the time of filming this, he already raised over $700,000 in his GoFundMe campaign. I'll be upfront with you guys and say that I'm not a fan of this guy, Louis Rossmann. He has a website called store.rossmanngroup.com that he is selling all these black market, unauthorized Apple original part, which is putting all our safety at risk. Again, that website is store.rossmanngroup.com. Look, it's a free country. You have the right to repair, you have the right to do whatever you want with the device you buy. But Apple also has the right to do whatever they want when they make it. If you don't like what Apple is doing, just start your own tech company. Steve Jobs once said, be the change you want to see. I did this with $3 worth of part and a Milwaukee battery in a car on the street. No right to repair, no schematics, no Apple's chips, no help from Apple, no electronic degree. I was actually a nutrition major. So for the safety of everybody, device should not have replaceable parts. That's why Australia is banning AirTags. They know having a user replaceable battery is as big of a safety risk as it is a security risk. It's obvious that the problem began when Apple blessed the user with the ability to change the battery on their own AirTags. I have no idea why Apple started doing this. They have always reserved that blessing for their own Apple Store and Apple authorized service provider. When you go into an unauthorized repair place to repair your iPhone, they always ask you to leave your phone there for 30 minutes. 30 minutes? You have no idea what those unauthorized people will do to your phone in 30 minutes. Let me ask you, will you leave your kids there for 30 minutes? Exactly. Hackers can easily develop a coin cell battery that has a built-in power management chip like they do in all the iPhone batteries for a low price of $100,000 to $200,000. Honestly, after this, I can never look at coin cell battery the same way again. For your safety, you can easily go to the nearest Apple store using Apple Map so they can send your phone out and get it repaired properly. You will get your phone back as fast as 3 to 5 business days. I'm sure everyone pays an extra $270 for Apple Care Plus when they buy an iPhone. With Apple Care Plus, Apple will send you a replacement device the same day. You just have to call Apple on the broken device that has a bad touchscreen so they can verify your Apple Care status. Sonny, what about the people who don't have Apple Care? What are you, poor? Anyways, the fix is very simple. I believe the privilege of changing AirTag batteries should be reserved to the authorized repair center like they have been doing for all other Apple devices. For the safety and security of their customers, Apple needs to release an update to the AirTag that when the device loses power, it needs to detect that the battery replacement is done at the Apple authorized service provider. It also needs to detect that the owner's device is nearby before it could be used to track again. I believe it's great that Apple is telling chip makers like Texas Instruments not to sell chips that are used on Apple devices to other people. If anything, Texas Instruments should stop selling all chips to regular people, not just the one used on Apple device. Having stuff like the TLC 555 timing IC, which is also made by Texas Instruments and is what I use to disable the AirTag stalker alert, it should be illegal. Microcontrollers should also be illegal. Apple already serialized their parts like cameras, batteries, and screens to each of their devices, so they cannot be replaced by users for their safety. Who knows if people are just replacing the battery or harvesting parts for a bomb. If you buy enough Apple iPhones, you can harvest the battery to blow up a hospital. When you watch movies like Mission Impossible, you see a big countdown timer on the bomb. Well, in real life, bomb timer looks like this. It's a lot smaller and only the criminal knows how much time they have to get away. I believe we as Americans have a responsibility to stop the right to repair nonsense. We can afford to buy another iPhone, but we cannot afford another terrorist bombing. I think Apple, Google, Samsung, and all the other tech companies should come together and implement a chip on the phone that they will self-destruct safely, leaving the device useless as soon as someone tries to open it. We also need to ban the sale of all chips and microcontrollers. They are more dangerous than bullets. Not only is it the reasonable thing to do, they have a responsibility to do so, and the future of our kids depends on it. That's all I have to say. Be safe while you still can.